We'll call to order the regular meeting of the Chicago Board of Election Commissioners for Thursday, September 26, 2013. Good morning, everyone. My name is Langdon Neal. I'm chairman of the board. Seated to my right is Commissioner Cowan, and to my left is Commissioner Hernandez. First thing on the agenda is the consideration of the agenda itself. Any additions, modifications to the agenda as presented? All right, we will proceed in the order as provided. We do not have any minutes for today, so we'll have to consider the meeting of the last minutes at our following meeting. We move right into the Executive Director's report. Mr. Goff.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to let the board members know, we've been rolling out our new, not VR system, but our management system. We've started off with polling places in the judge's department, that they're reviewing the new software, and it seems to be working pretty good. Our people are making changes and reviewing as we speak. Mr. Allen, we're getting ready for the canvas. I know we found some errors in the geocode, and we're doing that right now, so we'll be ready to roll out our canvas very shortly. We have the funding for the mailing of it, so we're hopefully in real good shape. We've been getting a lot of questions about the registration, and we also have people coming in already reviewing petitions. So the season's now. We're going to start getting real busy, so just to let you know that. I've been requested by some campaigns to have Saturday hours, and we're going to sit down and review that. So.
For this election cycle, maybe this goes to Mr. Scanlon, there will be some offices in which we will have electoral board proceedings. Correct. To consider the representative districts entirely within the city.
Correct. And legislative and representative districts entirely within the city, or partially within the city, and entirely in Cook County.
Yes. Is this the first time that
no.
This is just the second time.
Correct.
It's the second time.
Right.
And do you have any, well, of course you don't know the magnitude of the amount of challenges we will have to hear.
I would say anywhere in the vicinity between 30 and 50.
Okay.
And that's just based on past experience.
Mm-hmm. All right. Ms. Goff, did that conclude your report?
Yes, Mr. Allen?
Commissioners just passed around the RFP for the electronic poll books. Also appeared at no cost in election administration reports, which circulates with a variety of election officials and vendors across the country. So that was in addition to the Sun-Times and Tribune. We had a very good meeting with all of the potential vendors earlier this week, where we answered all of their questions relative to what the board was looking for in terms of an electronic poll book solution. It's a pre-bid type meeting, and so they were attending both via conference call, and we had several here in person, approximately 9 or 10.
Yes.
The canvas, as Mr. Goff mentioned, will be moving forward. That should drop around October 9, October 10, somewhere in that area. I wanted to revisit one question that you raised last meeting. That was whether or not we could combine a mailing before the election.
Yes.
That is an option. However, then you can't take any of the results from that and affect any of the registrations for that election. Mm-hmm. In order to affect the results, or in affect the rolls rather, for the primary election, we have to conduct that canvass at least 90 days before. So this will clean the rolls ahead of that primary, and that's one of the goals we were discussing. We should be getting mock-ups of the revisions to the website. Should be submitting those to you for, these are just rough sketches, graphic designs of the revisions to the website. Budget department has communicated, we've gone back and forth regarding equipment, whether or not we're really going to be able to do electronic poll books and/or scanners. And right now, it's an area of uncertainty with that. And lastly, we had a meeting with, it was well attended by various voter rights groups, the Chicago Public Schools, MICVA Challenge, the McCormick Foundation, about the effort starting in January to register 17-year-olds who will be eligible to vote in the primary. We have a narrow window between January 1 and February 18 to try to reach out through the schools. So we're going to be working with service learning coaches and other contacts that MICVA Challenge has, which we use to find student judges of election and try to have an outreach through that system. So got a lot of work to do in a short amount of time.
Yes. Commissioner Cowan.
Jim, is there any reasonable, practicable way to reach 17-year-olds who are not in school? And are there organizations that we might notify, anything of that nature? If they're not in school, they're probably a rather spread out community, but I don't know if there may be social service agencies, community organizations that would have some contact with that age group.
They
We
graduated from high school, is that what you're saying?
No, that maybe dropped out.
Oh, dropped out, okay.
I doubt they would have graduated by 17, but if
possible.
they did,
It's possible.
you know, then that group is as well.
If they
Well, we
graduated
did-
by 17, they're probably in college.
I mean,
On a full scholarship.
obviously, the desire is to reach the biggest polls out there,
Yes.
both in the Chicago Public Schools and the Archdiocese schools. But that's an excellent thought. We'll have to look into that.
I mean, I don't think we can make this a huge citywide project, but if there are readily identifiable organizations, churches, whatever they may be, you know, notifying them and advising them of the program.
Just to make a comment, we do have a lot of community groups that we've done in our 2012 project that we worked on. So
Mhm.
we can reach out to
Right.
them and explain to them what the new law means and even encourage them to help out. So
That'd be great. And we'll be getting the word out. to,
Yes.
Yes.
We're going to meet with the service learning coaches in early December to try to get them to figure out what they think will work best for their high school and their schedule, whether it's a lunch hour type availability or assembly, or they may want to bring in a speaker. And there's a lot of interest among all the people around that table, including the representatives from the mayor's office, on the possibility of the elected school board question possibly being on the ballot. Because right now, with no big Democratic primary, there's going to be a strong Republican primary in the Republican side for governor, with no apparent major Democratic primary. They were expressing concern that there might be less interest in the election. But with the elected school board question possibly on there, they think that will generate a lot of attention from the students.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Allen?
That's it.
Okay, Mr. Goff?
that's it.
All righty. We'll move on to old business. Infrastructure projects. We really touched on that. You did. Anything else you wanted to say about that? About our infrastructure projects, other than we're awaiting funding, our funding request to see which projects we can undertake?
Those are both on hold right now.
Okay. All righty. Voting equipment, we also discussed that. Is there anything new we want to talk about there? Okay. Legislation, Mr. Scanlon, I think you report there.
Just that the State Board of Elections is preparing its draft rules to be sent over to the Joint Committee on Administrative Rules. And then the joint committee will have hearings. I'm not sure as to the timetable for that. And then at some point there will be final adoption. So there hasn't been any substantive changes to the state board's proposed rules since they were originally proposed. They had some minor tweaks, but it's largely unchanged from the original draft. So.
Okay.
Do we have to, do we need to comment on any of those proposals?
We did send over a copy of a draft of some proposals, but I don't think those are going to be in the state board's final draft.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I don't think those are going to be in the state board's final draft.
All righty. Any other questions for Mr. Scanlon? If not, I don't think we have any new business today, so I'll move to the legal report.
I have nothing to report, Mr. Chairman. It's quiet,
Everything's quiet in the legal department?
relatively quiet.
All right.
Trying to get ready for electoral board hearings.
Yes, I understand. All right, we do have a financial report. In your package, you have voucher number 13-06 from the City of Chicago. That voucher approval list totals $357,272.26. $357,272.26.
Motion to approve?
Moved by Commissioner Hernandez.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Khan. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
That'll be the order. The second voucher list you have is from the County of Cook. That would be voucher 13-05 in the amount of $839,750.40. $839,750.40.
Move approval.
Moved by Member Cowan.
Second.
Seconded by Member Hernandez. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
That'll be the order. Okay, this time we'll move to the public comment section. Anybody want to say anything today to us? Ms. Maroney?
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Glad
How
you
are
all
you?
arrived safely this morning despite the crazy traffic.
Yes.
Going on and accidents that are deadly, so that's tragic.
Yes.
Wanted to start out by thanking you. I heard feedback from the Ballot Integrity Group, the Ballot Integrity Project, which is a great group here in Chicago, on the fact that you posted the video of the last meeting on the internet, and I've also talked to a couple of other people that are quite excited about that, so that was a wonderful way to address my FOIA, and I greatly appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. We do pay attention and listen to what you have to say and give great interest in your feedback and comments.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that very much. I wanted to discuss, we have updated, I've worked with the staff on vulnerability assessment, and I gave them a proposal, which I'm assuming that you have, and I know that you're not going to comment on it quite yet, because we agreed in the meeting that we would talk further about it, and I'm sure that'll happen before the next board meeting. But we are making progress on getting to our common ground on that regard.
Good.
I did do further research following our last meeting and spent quite a bit of time studying the EAC website and the Illinois State Board of Elections board minute meetings for the last 4 years. And I submitted a letter to the board last week claiming that the certification of the election system is questionable. I've gotten some feedback from the board and some feedback from here, and I would like to enter that letter into the public record, and I gave it to the secretary with your consent. And I would like to know how we should go forward with addressing that issue expediently.
Well, it is entered for the record. Mr. Cowan, you want to respond?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sharon, you've raised those same questions directly with the state board, haven't you?
I have, yes.
Because I'm sure you're aware that we don't test, we don't certify, that's all at the state board level. So we really are in the position of relying on the state board to tell us that yes, this equipment meets all the standards and you're free to go ahead and use it. So I think we're kind of looking to any clarification, if a clarification is needed from the state board, but they're really the decision maker here, aren't they?
I think they are, and I do believe it's important for you to be aware of the situation because, of course, it would greatly impact the elections that are coming up so quickly. So I'm going to be on top of informing you about the progress with the board and believe that the board will address this issue fairly quickly.
Because the question I have long range, if the state board says, yes, this is certified, and you say no, and this is a rhetorical question, aren't we still obligated by statute to follow the state board?
I think.
Well, no, I mean, I'm just posing that question down the road, not to discuss it or try to answer it today. But I think that's sort of how the chain of command goes.
Yes, and I think the board has informed me that that we have a differing opinion of when the certifications expired, whether or not it was in 2012 or 2013. And I'm getting clarification about that from the legal department right now. And then the next question is, can it be recertified since there's no ability to test it because they have pulled back from the testing program? And what your responsibility is, I don't know, but if it ends up in court, I guess the judges will figure that part out. I can't, I do agree with you, it has to start, of course, with the state board. But I know you guys don't want to be blindsided by this. And
No, we don't, absolutely not.
So I just encourage everybody to resolve this issue at the state board level as quickly as possible and as clearly as possible, so everybody knows the answer.
Excellent, thank you. Appreciate that. And that was my only comment other than what we talked about already. So thank you for your time again.
Thank you, sir. Terry, you have anything for us today?
Nothing today.
Okay, all righty. Well, good seeing you today.
Well, we have had requests for voter registrars, and we're kind of putting them off until January so that the 17-year-olds can be
Excellent.
registered.
I would encourage members of the audience to speak up a little more loudly because sometimes we have trouble hearing, and I'm not sure that the recording device is sensitive enough to catch low comments, especially the distance between us and those of you who are here.
That is a problem.
Thank you, Terry.
Yeah, I don't know whether that's repeated.
Okay, we do not have any need for an executive session today.
I would like to have an executive
Okay.
session on pending litigation.
Okay. We will recess. I'll accept a motion to recess an executive session to discuss pending litigation. Moved by Member Cowan.
Well, I'd say pending, probable, or imminent litigation.
Okay.
All three of them.
And I second.
Seconded by Commissioner Hernandez. For discussion, hearing none, all is in favor?
Aye.
We will recess an executive session, return to open session to approve any matters that require a vote in open session or to close the meeting. The board took no action in executive session, which requires a vote in open session. So at this time, I'll accept a motion to recess till our next regularly scheduled meeting, which will be October 22nd? No,
October
sorry.
8th.
Skipped a whole, October 8th.
October 8th.
At 9? Back to 9?
9 is fine.
Okay, at 9.
So moved.
Moved?
Second.
Properly seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.